Interview with a grade 5 classroom teacher. Mrs. Kano has had a wide range of classroom experience teaching English learners, both in bilingual classes and the mainstream. She has been using discussions for learning for 3 years with her 5th grade classes to increase students' oral language and academic vocabulary. We asked her to discuss her personal experiences using discussions for learning and how her students respond to the lessons.
I think allowing a routine time as often as possible to oral language helps. But what really helps is having the program that has everything built in that you need to get this done. The strategies, the context sentences, and the images. That's really proved to be beneficial to my students. Well, oral work is extremely important in terms of developing language because most of the time students are encountering language through text, through reading. But they don't really have that opportunity to use the language. So it's important to be able to use the language, especially if it's unfamiliar, and to use it in a way that's scaffolded and where there are multiple opportunities to continue to use it. Because once they get to text, there's more likelihood that they're going to come across these words and actually understand them. Well, I definitely appreciate that these questions are built into the program. They are high-level questions. So being able to ask my students, do you agree or disagree, and why? Or you're making this inference. Well, what evidence do you have? This program has helped me to internalize this so that I am also bringing it into other content areas. And sometimes even the students internalize these types of questionings, and they ask each other these types of questions. Another strategy is asking some students to repeat what another student has said. And in so doing, they also are using that same language and they can get a hang of that language structure that I expect of them. Another thing is giving them time to think, to rehearse, and then to express themselves.
Dominate to me, it's like if there was a fish in a bowl and a cat was trying to get it. The fish would be dominated by the cat.
Ultimately, my students want to talk. It's just a matter of guiding them and directing it into an academic discussion. So the images and the program and the framework really help us do that. Absolutely, they're owning the words. In fact, I noticed in a colleague's classroom, I saw some students working on a particular writing piece using the words they were learning with me in my class. So they really are using these words and owning them. Well, the context sentences, I think, are key in terms of having the students understand the meanings of the words as we've been building up the anticipation of what's that next word going to be, what's that sentence, and how does it relate to the image. Also, the students are becoming aware of the complexity of the sentences as they're studying, for example, a complex sentence, a sentence with an A positive in it. I never saw myself as a teacher who would follow a script. I see my teaching as an art. I want to create it. However, the script is so well thought out. There is no way that I would have come up with these sentences, these clues, these images in such an organized manner. I really appreciate it. So looking at these images excites the students because a lot of these images have things that they've never seen before. So it's like going on a field trip. They broaden their horizons, they get to expand their ideas, and they develop new concepts about the world.
I think it's aesthetically pleasing because it has many designs on it.
I think the magic is that students do get to participate in creating the context for what they are going to discuss. Sure, there are vocabulary words. Sure, there are context sentences. But the students really guide the discussion through the answers to the questions I ask them. And they're excited about what they're going to say the next day if I preview the image for the next day. For less proficient students, I'm not as concerned if they're not using correct English language structures, but that they get their point across so that we know what they're thinking and trying to use the new language that we're teaching them. If the language structure is imperfect, it's okay. We're going to fix that later. Well, first of all, kids get to talk during discussions for learning time. And so often throughout the day, they have to be quiet. They can't turn to their partners. They have to look forward. And in discussions for learning, they get to think whatever they want, and they get to say not whatever they want, but they get to express themselves in a structured way through viewing images that are interesting to them. They're thought-provoking. They're excited about it.